How are you?
Hey,
You know this guy.
you there? Ah, he does not want. He's like,
He was trying to surprise. Now he's good. He's just really excited to see you. This is Nagel. You've met
my.
before. He's gotten a little bigger since last time.
He's like, we're snake guy. Eh.
He's always happy to see you, and it's kind of a tradition now that he sits in. You all right? You ready to start? You ready to start?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no snakes in the movie The Breach, but I did enjoy it nonetheless. I'm curious, on the subject of movies, not necessarily horror movies, although I guess it could be in its own way. I know there's been demand for a while that there be a Guns N' Roses biopic, and I'm under the impression you're not into that idea, but I'd
Wha-
love to talk with you about the possibility of that ever happening.
I mean, I just don't see it happening anytime in the foreseeable future. It doesn't mean that it won't happen ever, because who knows? I can only think down the line so far. But I've never been able to envision how you're going to get. I mean, it's one thing to try and find actors who represent the people in the band. But the other thing is all sort of theatrical depictions of life in the music scene and the everyday life of musicians and all that kind of stuff. It's always some fabricated, over exaggerated bullshit. And it's very rare that you see a movie that actually feels genuine.
Mhm.
And so I don't even want to be a part of all that. I just don't think that it would be done a real justice. I've seen a lot of bad ones and they freak me out. I actually am working on a movie that is based around a rock band and it's a horror movie. And it's actually because it's something I avoid because that's the first scripts I always get are rock related horror scripts. But there's a really good one that I'm involved with. So, but that is just around a band and it has some music, music throughout it. It should be out next year and it is fictional. But that's all I can say at this point.
You just recently contributed guitar to the rock remix or rock remake, I should say, of Demi Lovato's "Sorry Not Sorry." I'm curious how that came about, and if the two of you bonded over the fact that obviously you're both sober and in recovery. You've both conquered your own demons, and now you're doing a rock song together. I thought it was great. Could you tell me about that?
You're the first person to get that. She and I know each other because we've been through that. And so I think in some way, shape or form, we were introduced a long time ago and we had that relate to that we were both struggling addicts and all that.
Can you tell me a little bit real quick about how the two of you bonded over your shared struggles that you've had in the
Oh,
past?
well, I mean, I think I'd been sober for a little while and she was still struggling a little bit. Having just gone through a relapse. And then I talked to her just post that, and she was sort of trying to get it back together and whatnot. And I think that's how we initially started sort of talking. And she's just really cool, and she's really intelligent and talented girl. And so we just been friends ever since then. But what happened was I'm doing this record it's done now, but it's not coming out till next year. But I did this record with a bunch of different singers, sort of similar to my first solo record, but it's different it's more blues oriented. And I had her sing on something. I asked her specifically to sing on something. And so she did. And I told her, I said, hey, if you ever need me to put some guitar on something, just let me know and I'll do it. And so she hit me back about, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later and said she's got this song that she's doing a remake of. And if I'd put some guitar on that. So I just did that. I was in Norway just recently we did a show in Norway and a day off. And I found a cool engineer and studio in Norway and just put the guitars on there. It's amazing how fast it came out.
I guess I'm really fascinated about the Demi Lovato stuff. Any more you could tell me about this all-star record you're putting out next year? Anyone else who's going to be on
But
it?
you're the first person. No, I'm not selling anymore. You're the first person I even said it to. So it's
Awesome.
been totally under wraps, but it's definitely coming out next year. So there's not really much more to tell you at this point, but we definitely recorded something. Hers is a completely different type of a song. So it's interesting how diverse her voice can be.
Yeah, she's a fantastic singer and you're a fantastic guitarist. So it was a great meeting of the minds. And as was this interview, I always enjoy speaking with you. Nagel does as well. So
The total.
Congratulations on the breach and everything else you have going on.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's good to see both of you.
It's good to see you too. You have a wonderful day, Slash.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.